This video contains spoilers. You've been warned. What's going on, horror freaks? Welcome back to Fearful Features, the weekly horror hangout where we talk about the blood-soaked, the bone-chilling, and the brilliantly bizarre when it comes to all things horror. As you can tell, I'm still a little bit under the weather, but this ship has to keep sailing to greatness. Because today, we are talking about Ghost Ship, a 2002 supernatural thriller that's mostly remembered for the iconic scene, and often dismissed for everything else. But is that fair? Let's break down what this film gets right and where it completely goes off the rails, and why it might deserve a second look. Let's talk about Ghost Ship.
I think I saw something I couldn't possibly have seen.
Let's start with what this movie does well, and honestly, there's more here than people give it credit for. The Antonia Graza is the real star of the show. This is a ghost ship with personality. Every room is soaked in eerie elegance and eerie decay. The Art Deco style, the water-damaged luxury, the long-forgotten jazz records still spinning, all of it sells the idea that this ship froze in time the moment tragedy struck. It's creepy in the best kind of way. If you've ever wanted The Shining but on a haunted cruise liner, Ghost Ship is basically the maritime version. You feel the weight of its history in every hallway. Visually, the movie is polished. The cinematography uses shadows and symmetry with great effect, making everything feel claustrophobic and a little off-kilter. And the score? Not the best, but underrated in my opinion. It brings a tragic, ghostly vibe that tries to elevate the emotional core of the story, even when the writing doesn't quite match it. The cast is stacked with early 2000s energy. Juliana Margulies anchors the film as a no-nonsense salvage expert. Carl Urban shows up in full roughneck mode. Isaiah Washington and Ron Eldard each bring some personality to their own limited roles. And of course, Gabriel Byrne adds a touch of class as a seasoned captain. And Emily Browning makes her film debut as Katie, a tragic ghost child who ends up being one of the film's most emotionally resonant characters. So yeah, on the surface, Ghost Ship has all the right pieces, but it doesn't always know how to use them. The movie starts off with a bang, but then it kind of just drifts off into dead waters. The first 30 minutes build tension well, but once the team gets on board and starts exploring, things slow down. The middle of the film does kind of feel aimless, and it's just filled with exposition, like it's unsure if it wants to be a psychological mystery, a ghost story, or a body count slasher. Outside of Margulies and Browning, most of the characters are just archetypes. A tough guy, the comic relief, the red shirt. We get hints of backstory, but the film never lets us sit with them long enough to really care when the horror isn't hitting. And then there's the third act twist, when we finally meet the villain, Jack Ferriman. We go from supernatural mystery to soul-collecting demon in disguise. It's a big swing, and while it could have worked, the movie just doesn't lay enough groundwork for it. Instead of a satisfying reveal, it feels more like a Hail Mary that missed. Still, even with these flaws, Ghost Ship still remains fun. It embraces its weirdness, and even when it stumbles, it does so with memorable flair. And I think that has to do with the work of Steve Beck. If his name sounds familiar, it's probably because Ghost Ship wasn't his first haunted house ride. He also directed 13 Ghosts a year before, another cult favorite dripping with style and big horror energy. And then, that's it. Just 2 films, and then that's all we got. It honestly feels like a tease. Beck had a clear eye for visual storytelling, turning both 13 Ghosts and Ghost Ship into moody, atmospheric spectacles. You can say what you want about the scripts, but his ability to craft memorable set pieces, that wire scene, the glass cage kills in 13 Ghosts, shows he has serious genre potential. It's a shame we didn't get to see what else he could have brought to horror world, because love or hate these movies, they looked great. And they stuck with people. That's more than a lot of horror directors can say with just 2 entries. So where does that leave us? Ghost Ship isn't a masterpiece. It's uneven, flawed, and sometimes feels like it's being pulled in too many directions. But it's also stylish, ambitious, and weirdly earnest in the attempt to blend ghost story with gorefest. If you went in expecting The Exorcist, you'll be highly disappointed. But if you're in the mood for spooky vibes, cool visuals, and a boatload of haunting imagery, Ghost Ship delivers exactly that, with a little early 2000s cheese on the side. For horror fans, it's a worthy revisit. And for those who've only seen that one scene, trust me, there's more to the wreck than meets the eye. But those are just my thoughts, guys. What are yours? Is Ghost Ship a forgotten favorite or an overhyped opener with a cool kill? Whatever you think, leave it in the comments below, let me know. And if you liked this video, or if you didn't like this video, hit that thumbs up button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell to stay up to date with all the horror content I have coming your way. Stay scared, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time with another fearful feature.